確かこの辺りにも立ち寄る場所がありましたね。
効率だけを考えても仕方ないですが。
許せるはずなかろう。
毛づくろいしな。ここに住もうかしら。
これ何かが書かれているようですね。
内容を確認しましょう。
ではこちらへ。目的地ではない方向に行かれるのですか。なるほど。
ここは各社様の意思に沿いましょう。それが従者たる務めです。
おや、いらっしゃい。
戸惑うばかりだよ。いらっしゃいませ。ベルンワース随一のもてなしで。お客様の疲れをまた来てくれよ。
ベルモントは昔獣人の国だったそうですね。
そうなんですか。各社様、私たちは一旦ここでお待ちしています。
各社殿ですか。警備長から話は聞いております。ついてきてください。
仕事も家事も勢いが大事。
楽しまないね。ここで過ごすのもいいな。立場上 警備は続けねばなりません。いざ荒事の際は
ここに入ることはできません。
舞踏会なら開催していませんよ。
先輩方はどうやって強くなったのか。
我々が暇なら治安がいいってことだな。
やってられない。
お待ちしておりました、各社様。いよいよ弓の試練ですね。以前の遺跡のところに行ってみましょう。
うまく移動できましたね。さて、ここはどういう状況ですか？
キメラと遭遇しました。
今はよし、一気に攻めましょう。
こちらですね。
私の異界知識としてこの近くの宝箱まで案内しましょう。よろしいですか？
着きましたね。
来たね。じゃあ行こうか。僕についてきて。
エルフの村とは楽しみです。グリンドール殿の案内に任せましょう。
あの人の行き先に従いましょう。圧倒と呼んで差し支えない勝利でした。
これに慢心せず次に備えましょう。
森の中は少し気温が下がるようですね。
魔物にとっても森はいい隠れ場です。
同意します。 記者様との連携しっかり務めました。確実に決めてみせます。我々は冒険にうってつけのパーティーですね。いい組み合わせだと思います。
互いに助け合えそうですね。
そうですね。
心配しないで、なんとかするよ。
Alla kalvasun de isillodomone.
Isilrod baninu lia.
Ne halana my tenalis.
へえ、ルーミルが何を言ってたか分かってたの？すごいな。エルフ語が分かるなんて君の仲間は勉強家なんだね。さあ急ごう。試練の場所はこの先だよ。
Now then we motor. Echoes.
設置完了ですね。刹那の筆跡を使えばここに戻ってこれます。
Never tidy. Windham.
いい買い物ができましたね。
Lass uns Alter, nes firmo, tus anchi. Ilya in Angao. Lanesi Alka.
Now then we motoring echoes.
Alkailne Helma.
Ana Kurulion Forestia.
Quanamonne monk.
Fairness Maroon. Arabakil Kashinke. Nundia Fionasu Fairness. Bani Ayel.
さあ急ごう。試練の場所はこの先だよ。
採取します。後に役立つ時もあるでしょう。
ここで弓の試練を。でも全員が持ち場。
快神経テペロールアンネ。
そんな。妹が危ない。お願いだ。あまり時間がない。急いでくれ。
宝箱を開けに行きます。竜の鼓動のかけら、いくつか集めることで効果があるものですね。
落とさないよう大事にしまっておきましょう。
各社様、付近に案内できる場所があります。よろしければ話させてください。
来てくれたんだね。もう時間がない。妹をさらったオーガを早く見つけないと。
おいよアイラメヘルオルルインタルマリンタ
ネマレンタルアルカヤアレカノナンデビン
イシルロスアイランドファラスミルサルマ
モリビンフィンデルナーイタルンドバニファリスリアフエネヌンメネオストタラリアオストテルペルンテネ。
魔物の住処かもしれませんね。
警戒しすぎるに越したことはありません。敵が現れました。やりますね、感謝様。どうでもいいことかもしれませんが、異界を渡っているとマスターの個性に驚きます。あえて装備を貸して身軽な方もいました。
興味深く思いますよ。主導権はこちらです。
私の背後に。
精霊よ、僕に力を。思ったより悪い状況だね。父はなんとか無事だけど、デューランはオーガの手に。考えている時間はない。急いで妹を助けないと。いいかい、父に注意が向いている隙に僕がオーガの腕を射る。オーガは痛みで妹を手放すはずだ。そしたら君は急いで妹を連れて安全な場所に逃げてくれ。こんな距離から的に当てるなんて正直やったことがない。弓の試練でもここまでの距離じゃないからね。でも妹の命がかかってるんだ。絶対に当ててみせる。デューランを早く安全な場所に。とにかく逃げるんだ。急いでくれ。
とにかく逃げましょう。デューラン殿を抱えてここから出ましょう。
巨大な魔物が現れました。
強さの底が見えません。動きをよく見ましょう。
及第点と言える立ち回りができました。
常に向上心を持って臨みたいものです。
ちょっと待って、これは出口だ。ここから出よう。やったー。なんとか成功してよかった。君のおかげだよ。どうやってお礼を言ったらいいか。この弓がなかったらきっと妹を助けられなかったと思う。君は妹の命の恩人だ。 この恩は忘れないからね。
Kiriando Banalin Herol Solon
フィンデルナール
Yabastin Larastan Nun Farasmi Marananun Anamoris Turukurion Ekaris Kalil Irumen Adkael Shirfanambawe Nun Karayer Ailame Angadur Shinde Kemerindor Kanian Iris Ardakar Funeral Airway Arforne Neven Sur Orne Eterer Dia Fermor Erdaria Ealote Undbana Arbekier Etelerne Anlera Airami Bruntena Periterme Anemartir Tindome Ingalina Fai Arme Alcarva Neven Mor Aiwan Alcarva Ferunum Erdaria Menelume Suru Karinum Kiriando Amindor Healers Artahir Kruir Morfa Islando Amandakir Banalin Herol Solon Sorne Anfra Mertor Nunglis Amandakir Angador Fairmore
フィンデルナールルンデネウェピエルオスト。君がこの弓をくれた時から何かが変わった気がする。君には本当に感謝してもしきれないよ。妹の命の恩人なだけじゃない。僕にとっても君は恩人だ。とはいえ僕の腕はまだまだ未熟だからね。弓を学びたいなら父と話すといいよ。力になってくれるはずだ。
Feinumman Arakan Arheha Ris Manasban Kashinke Terpenum Findaler Lelane Fir Herenon Ane Arther Firnis Aidaria Anandor Runintan Heror Ane Oyo Hermor Ane Duparana Hermendan Ris Fa Arne Farni Arheha Ris Manasban Feinumman Arakan Nova Irurat Ardakar Arduin Irando Mor Fernis Rome Ferne Morimbin Ereria Shirfanambawe Nun Karayer Ailame Angadur Shinde Kemerindor Kanian Iris Ardakar Tindome Ingalina Fai Arme Ark
君がこの弓をくれた時から何かが変わっ妹の命のとはいえ僕の腕はまだまだ未熟だからね。弓を学びたいなら父と話すといいよ。
ではこちらへ。
私が拾ったものは各社様が優先してお使いください。
Não foi Ananduina.
Para karu sirnun ver parang narga sarna.
Morare fane lusami fairness mer arbekir kashinke nun lia filna su filnis.
まだ明るいですが、睡眠の時です。
私の知見や成長も各社様あってこそ、これからの冒険でそれを示しましょう。さあ、体力も戻りましたね。
やることはたくさんあります。よく眠れましたか？
Career, ne affaire ni landwin.
Littéralement, restaurant.
Karilem, Kemen Lastin Domenen Meldor, Morvea Kuruil. あなた、エルフ違う。パランロメメルドール。フィルニスナンバベ。私、ドゥーラン。外の人間の言葉、エルフの言葉と違う。私、ちゃんと外の人間の言葉話せてる。外の人間の言葉、兄が教えてくれた。でも、誰かに話したの初めて。たまに村に外の人間来る。だけどみんなが追い返すの。あ、私行かないと。精霊の木、お世話すれ。
私が拾います。
この木のお世話、私の仕事。精霊の木、みんなそう呼ぶ。ずっと昔からこの村にある。この木、自然そのもの。エルフはみんなこの木が好き。エルフは自然と一緒に暮らす。それはみんな精霊の木のおかげ。でも精霊の木どんどん弱ってる。元気にするために肥料をあげないと。その肥料、エルフの言葉でグフン茶。外の人間の言葉ではちょっとわからない。昔迷子のドワーフがグフン茶くれた。精霊の木、それで元気になった。でも残りがとても少ない。だから精霊の木、もう元気になれないかも。あなたグフン茶知らない？エルフの村の外あるかもしれない。もし見つかったらどこにあるか私に教えて。
グフンチョは赤竜会のことですね。エルフ語のことなら任せてください。
外の人間の言葉で赤竜会って言うの？でもどこにあるんだろう。
赤竜会はバタル流の火事で出るものです。バタルの鍛冶屋なら詳しいはずです。
何か分かったら教えて。
Panamon de Mountain Lace Metal.
Res Finunemum, Parasmer, Eona.
無事に飛んでこれました。一旦状況を整理しましょう。何か視線を感じますね。
到着しました。
君は買い物とかよくする？
寄ってらっしゃい、見てらっしゃい。伝説の語り部アルバート様だ。
ありゃりゃ、追い込まれたか。やるじゃないですか、各社さん。わかりませんか？いわゆる密偵ってやつです。あんたに自由に行動されると不都合な連中がいましてね。あんたを監視して報告するってわけです。とはいえ、こうしてバレちまった以上は仕事もここまでかな。どうですかね。もうやめるんで見逃しちゃくれませんか？そうですか。分かってましたけどね。オイラの腕で勝てるかな。
そこの者、動けな。
失敗だ。くそ。
おそらくバタルから放たれた密偵でしょう。後のことは我らにお任せください。数日内に知っている情報を吐かせてみせます。しばしお待ちください。何かあれば報告しろ。はっ。
牛車に乗れば比較的安全に移動できます。
魔物の少ない街道ですが、利用は日中のみですね。
こちらは任せてください。
任務中の雑談は
オイラを捕まえても意味がない。別の人間が密偵につくだけですぜ。
数日内に知っている情報を吐かせてみせます。しばしお待ちください。
いい覚悟だ、貴様。なめるなよ。
何か面白いことないかな。
それともいや、どうもいらっしゃい。ご用は？
宝箱ですね。どうにか近づけないでしょうか。
よかったら見てっとく。毎度ありがとう。
何かあれば手伝うよ。時間があるなら少し話さないかい？立ち話もなんだし。ここは賑やかだね。街がこんなに活気があるなんて全然知らなかったよ。おかしいかい？でも今までろくに外出したことがないんだ。母がちょっと厳しくてね。普通のことなんかしたことがないから自分で買い物がしてみたかったんだ。母は僕に何でも与えてくれるけど自分の手で欲しいものを手に入れたくてね。まあ結局は君にもらっちゃったんだけど、でもそれはそれでいいかな。特別な体験って感じだからさ。本当にありがとう。お礼と言ってはなんだけどこれをあげるよ。ごめん、 そろそろ行かないと。抜け出したのが母にバレると面倒だから。話してくれてありがとう。また会えるといいね。それじゃ。
ゆっくり見ていておくれよ。
今日は敵になりそうじゃ。
にぎわいってのはいいもんだ。
ここだと素が出ちゃうわね。
今日は何しようか。
父に見立てるのは得意だ。
ありがとう。おかげで1週間いただね。それでね、引っ越し費用のこともね。どう？買わない？ありがとう。それじゃあ取引成立ね。
知らない話、僕の頼み事を聞いてほしいんだ。感謝するよ。
じゃあ私は新しい家に向かうとするわ。ここなら多少騒いでもお咎めなしだね。
もうちょっとここにいたいわ。
何か始めたい気分ね。あ、
急いで帰ることはないな。
まだ余力は十分だな。
一休みしていこうかな。
おや、いらっしゃい。
みんな賑やかなのが好きよね。芝ね。悩んじゃう。
いいわね。平和そうで
貧しき者に救いを。おや、各社様ですか。感謝します。
何？
おや、各社様、感謝します。少々お待ちを。我らが救いのその子、この施設どうか。
情報集めをマルコム？何のためかは知らん。マルコムはなんかすご。
マルコム、一緒にタンク起こしてくれれば。
成果を報告しに行きましょう。
君のそばにいるだけで。
いや、行ってみましょう。こちらです。ついて。多分穴があります。とにかく急ぎましょう。
教師はいつも緊張します。敵に出会ったら位置取りが難しいですから。とにかく前後左右確かめながら行きましょうか。
していこうかな。
マルコム、無事でよかった。ありがとうございました。
ケンドリック先生、すごいの見つけちゃったんだ。この先だよ。本があるんだ。ものすごくいっぱいの本。秘密基地みたいだった。
ちょっと行ってみましょうか。
あの人についていきましょう。
賛同します。扉ですか。なんとか通りたいですね。
これはなんと。
すごいでしょ。大発見だよね。
ええ、そうですね。ここは大昔の書庫だったのでしょうか。これだけ価値のある書物がこんなに残っているとは。知識の宝庫と言ってもいいかもしれませんね。各社様、この場所のことはどうか内密にお願いできますか。これだけの量の知識です。悪用されるようなことがあってはなりません。この場所の管理を任せられる信頼できる方が必要ですね。そのような方がいたらお知らせくださいますか。もちろんマルコムもですよ。この場所のことは私たちだけの秘密です。
でも
秘密を守ってくれるならこの場所への出入りを許してあげましょう。一緒にここを探検するんです。
まさかこのような書庫が地下にあるとは。学者なら喜んで飛び込むでしょうね。
合意します。
どうしよう。
交代時間までまだ少し。あれは別部隊でしょ。疲れが溜まってきた。
ゆっくり見ていっておくれよ。各社様がお呼びです。早く集合。
当然承知の上です。
まさに不可解。
次の休みはいつだったかな。
あ、いらっしゃい。いらっしゃいませ。ベルンワース随一のもてなしでお客様。の疲れを癒して差し上げましょ
う。まだ明るいですが。さあ、体力も戻りましたね。やることはたくさんあります。
よく眠れましたか。
あ、いらっしゃい。
そっけない場所だけど、それがいい。
This season's still very young, Greg. What are you looking forward to this year?
Well, Kevin, I'm always interested in the rookies, seeing which guys step up. The leap to the NBA can be a huge one, so you never know what'll happen with some of these young players.
Now Sacramento starting five.
There are only a few players who can hit a teammate like that in stride. Beautiful assist.
Here's Kobe. Curry on the wing. James outside. Good, and Curry gets the assist.
Instead of playing through LeBron, that time they set him up.
Starting for Charlotte was a loss to the Celtics in Boston. Here's Hope. Trying to answer back, but that three is off the mark. And so Bryant will bring it up for the Charlotte Hornets. And about a minute gone here in the first quarter. James misses. And it's Sacramento's ball. The bulldozer passes to Boss. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot two here. Sacramento shooting their first free throws of the night. At the line for the Kings. And the first one drops. And he makes both free throws.
And what an advantage. You really feel like you can always trust him when he's at the line.
Pass to Bryant. Shoots it up. Got it. Good job in the low post.
Such body control from Bryant. Able to take some hits there on the way up.
Just around a minute and a half into the first quarter. Here's Hope. And Shaquille O'Neal pulls it down. The Hornets have gone 2 of 3 here to start off the game. Durant kicks to Curry. Sinks the triple.
Honestly, guys, Curry is the best three-point shooter I've ever seen.
Hope over by LeBron. Pass to Boss. Here's the bulldozer. And yep, finally drops after rolling around the rim.
Now what a great option he gives them on every possession.
Outside Durant. Outside Curry. Shaq with the screen. Lock at 6. Here's the three. And it's Sacramento with the rebound.
And even though he didn't get a piece of that shot, you love the pressure he puts on the shooter.
Yeah, that's the kind of energy that you want to see on every possession throughout the game.
O'Neal with the rebound.
And you don't want to give up that kind of look too often.
We're about 3 minutes into this first quarter. Curry finds Durant. Shooting foul as the whistle blows. He'll shoot 2 free throws.
Well, one of the most lethal players in the game. Durant loves being a nightmare to defend and winning these trips to the free throw line.
He's getting his first free throw attempt of the night right now. Free throw drops for KD. So he gets them both.
A big fellow with the ability and confidence at the free throw line is something that every team wants. You don't have to make those late substitutions. Keep your big guys on the floor.
Pass to bulldozer. Here's Boss, guarded by Kobe. Takes the three, and he's good on the 3 ball. Boss has got 5 points so far.
And he's not going to miss that sort of an opportunity from deep.
And timeout is called by Charles Lee. He wants to make some adjustments to the game plan, clearly.
first quarter of play and just over 3.5 minutes in. And here's KD for three. Misses that one. He's 0 for 1 from the floor. The Kings trailing. Hope guarded by Kobe. There's the three. Another three for Sacramento.
You can't just stop when there's a pick set up. Gotta fight over it as a defender.
That's one that the coaches will watch tomorrow with that player. You hate to see him give up in that situation.
Here's Curry with the three. They grab their own miss. Outside for KD. And the Hornets miss again.
That is fantastic defense on one of the best three-point shooters in the league. Didn't give him an inch of room. Definitely a situation you want to make sure you don't give him too good of a look.
Sacramento grabs the miss. Pass to Boss. Here's the bulldozer. The 11-footer. It's good. The bulldozer's got his second basket of the night.
And it just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score. Just great ball movement.
LeBron, no luck. Now the Kings with it. Big stretch here going 10-2. The bulldozer passes to...
Wow, and that sort of showmanship is just deflating right now to a team trying to get back into a game like this.
Ouch, Greg, that is definitely an emphasis jam. A big apostrophe or exclamation point, maybe even a question mark. Now, here's Curry. The quick look, no good that time.
Not really his best quarter as far as scoring. Let's see if he can eventually get back on track.
They set the pick. Puts up a deep three. The long distance three is buried.
Yeah, that's too good a look to give him from behind the arc.
And here's James. He'll bring it up for the Charlotte Hornets. 9-point game. Bryant outside. Yes, and it's LeBron picking up the assist. Kobe's got his second bucket.
Inside the paint, Bryant is just as much trouble. He's practically a sure thing from in close.
2 free throws coming up, and they call the shooting foul. Now let's take a moment to get your guys' take on the scoring so far for Sacramento.
Well, they haven't wasted any time getting into a groove from deep, putting up and hitting a healthy amount of three-pointers thus far.
Let's make sure that that selfish nerve doesn't get tapped, because right now there's great ball movement. They're setting each other up. Let's see if that maintains.
Nowitzki's checked in for the Hornets. A-Train, he's checked in for the Kings. Bryant, high post. That one doesn't drop. Kings leading now by 8. Here's A-Train to the wing right side. Lets it go from deep. Trains it from beyond the arc. 6 points for him.
Defensively, they've been a step slow here to start.
The Hornets shooting 31% here early on. Not getting the shots they'd like. Kobe kicks to Curry. Puts up a deep three. A-Train pulls it in.
Time for some consideration in the passing category, maybe, Kevin. The shot is just not on. Get somebody else going.
No good that time. O'Neal with the defensive effort. Guys are looking for a spark here.
Yeah, a cold stretch offensively, for sure.
The Kings have gotten 8 of their 13 shots to find the bottom of the bucket. There's a screen. And it's sent back by Nowitzki. And that's out of bounds. Sacramento will retain possession. A post-All-Star break look now at how the breakdown between three-pointers and other shots have been for the Kings.
And clearly they haven't been shy about launching it from long range. That's the way the league has been going, and they are certainly embracing that trend.
And the Hornets making a change here. Jordan's checked in. To the paint. Shot clock at 5. And it's sent back by O'Neal.
And the aggressiveness on display here from O'Neal. Terrific at turning shots away with that size and length.
Lines it up for Jordan. And it's Jordan with the jam.
And and you know how that play's going to end. Jordan in the air, adjusting effortlessly.
Here's Boss, defended by Bryant, and it's sent back by Kobe.
I think Kobe saw the shot coming a mile away. He instinctually gets there for the block.
And the Kings making a change here, so the Kings call timeout. They're first.
In a moment here, let's check out the numbers for Jordan. Last season's performance for him averaged about 10 points a game, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. And he's also a bit of a stopper defensively. They put him in, and their defense really tightens up.
This is his specialty. He sits on the bench, he gauges what's happening offensively, and he comes in and sticks the opponent's top scorer to freeze him out.
The shot's good from Bryant.
Nice set there, making it easy for Bryant. He had that lined up all the way.
Pass to Watanabe. Here's A-Train. And off the left side of the rim, and it swirls in for him. And the Kings lead by 8. Looking at the last game for Charlotte, it was a loss to Boston. Curry passes to Jordan. Back to Curry for the key, and he comes up with the deuce. Curry's got 5 points so far.
How many times have we seen this? You give Curry an inch, that ball's gone.
Here's Watanabe. No scoring in this one. Pass to Boss. Fires from deep. Score the basket. His 4th. He's only missed 1 of his 5 shots tonight.
This quarter belongs to him, and that's how you do it when you're out in front. Don't play it safe. Keep that momentum going.
And it's good for 2.
And you see the power, but O'Neal shares it nicely as well.
Kings leading now by 7. Here's Watanabe. And Jordan sends it back.
And one of the league's most effective shot blockers from that guard position. Jordan can do it and help defense or on the ball. And they are shooting the lights out from distance here early.
It's Nowitzki on the wing. Good, and Curry gets the assist. Curry's got 5 assists tonight.
When your superstar is as unselfish as Steph Curry is, that's what gets other guys going.
From the arc, it's rebounded by Charlotte. O'Neal's got 5 rebounds tonight.
And Kevin, they need to be consistent with their effort on the boards. You look at the box score, and they're at a definite disadvantage.
It wouldn't surprise me to see him find his touch and still be a factor. Don't count them out yet.
And the rebound goes to Nowitzki.
He's going to be shaking his head on that one. Knows he missed an easy.
Yeah, you can't make them all, and you for sure you'll want him taking that kind of shot.
The Hornets shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw shots of the night.
Yeah, and 79% from the line as a team a season ago. Pretty reliable in that regard.
Shoot 2. And he makes the first.
Over 7 feet, big, quick, great hands. Shaq is a one-of-one type of player.
Looking at who's out there now for the Hornets. LeBron's checked in for Kobe. And Allen Iverson is subbed in for Curry. Pass to Kane. A 3-ball. Hands it from downtown. And the Kings lead by 10.
I like their focus coming in. Terrific execution so far.
Well, if there were 4 or 5 boxes to check in terms of the game plan tonight, they might have checked 6. I mean, they're doing everything out there.
Nowitzki kicks to Jordan. 6 to shoot. Picked his pocket. Out to the right wing. Kane. puts up a deep three. And Shaquille O'Neal pulls it down. O'Neal's got his 6th rebound on the night. Pass to Iverson. Charlotte no good that time either.
Oh, can't punish the defense for leaving him open that time. That's a frustrating miss for a really steady jump shooter.
Fires from way outside. And the last second attempt does not go in for him. And a double-digit lead on the scoreboard as we end the first quarter of play. Kings lead by 10. And so far through one quarter, it's been a lopsided game. We'll see if that changes here in a second. And looking at what we've seen from Sacramento so far, guys, what do you think?
Just stretching out the floor that first. They had the defense scrambling.
Pretty prime example here of how to space the floor and do it correctly. When you do it, that's the kind of thing that happens.
On the court right now for the Kings. Pass to Jordan.
Kings foul. First personal foul. First team foul. Into the lineup for the Kings, Cade Babcock.
Olajuwon passes to LeBron. 5 to shoot. There's the drive. He's off on that one. For the Sacramento Kings, the last game a loss to the Mavericks. Pass to Kane. Hope James covering. Here's Hope, and he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. That's on LeBron James. Every year, Greg, we get a new batch of rookies into the NBA, and sometimes we're all guilty of judging them too early.
Oh, absolutely. I think we need probably 3 years to evaluate a player. You know, fans and media can be a little harsh at times, but not everybody develops at the same rate.
And the first one at the line is good. Both shots good from the stripe. And it's the Hornets with the ball, down by 12. To the inside. Here's Jordan. And it's Sacramento with the rebound.
A lot of defenders choose to just back up off of him when he's in that tight, try to avoid the and one, and this time they're not backing off.
James dishes to Iverson. Floats it up for James. Pass to Kane. Lets the three fly, and that one's good. His second basket of 4, shooting 50%.
And really, as the three-pointers keep dropping, you get the sense that the frustration is mounting for the defense.
Here's Jordan. That's tipped. They recover it. No one near James as he lets it go. That's in, coming off the assist from Olajuwon. Sacramento leading by 12. Pass to Kane from deep. Out to the right wing. Here's A-Train. And that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call with the foul. Dirk Nowitzki picks up that one.
Yeah, the defender all over it.
The Kings shooting their 7th and 8th attempts at the foul line tonight.
And a season ago, they hit about 75% of their free throws.
No good on the free throw. Durant's checked in for the Hornets. The Bulldozer, he's checked in for Sacramento. Good on the second free throw. Hornets trail by 13. Pass to Iverson. Jacks up a 3. A Bulldozer pulls it in.
A slight rebound advantage for them. One more column in their favor, and it's all adding up.
Here's the screen. Plenty of daylight on that shot. And the Kings lead by 16.
Unwilling to let up, even for a moment. That's his killer instinct, just fanning the flames.
And he's the guy that you want to go to right now, trying to put this one away.
And the Kings pushing it up now. That one good for 2. 8 points for A-Train.
Beautiful transition offense there. That's execution at its best.
Yeah, once you burst through a seam like that, you got to look right towards the rim. Sweet play.
And so it's Charles Lee calling timeout. Wants to regroup and go over the strategy. Sacramento making some changes. Eason's checked in. Watanabe's in for Kane. We're just over 2.5 minutes into the second quarter. Olajuwon, good.
And that's just too deep. Olajuwon with way too many moves in there, almost automatic.
As to Watanabe. Eason, the screen. Shoots the three. And Hakeem Olajuwon pulls it down. Jordan, the pass to Olajuwon. And then Olajuwon with the dunk.
I mean, I hope you can appreciate the torque that kind of move generates. He just has that natural explosiveness. The dream is something to behold.
Gets it to go. That one good from Fall.
And yeah, he's not messing around. He wants no part of a comeback in this one.
Well, he's grabbed a tee and a blanket because he's putting this one to bed.
Iverson passes to Jordan. Does not score again. That's his fourth miss against one make. Here's the Bulldozer. Good on the three-point shot. The Bulldozer's got 7 points in the game.
It does so much out there to stretch out the defense when he's out on the perimeter, and he drains the triple.
Ball's knocked loose. Sacramento moving it around. Eason. Olajuwon with the block.
Without a doubt, one of the most versatile shot blockers in the game. Olajuwon does it in the painted area as well as along the perimeter. It's a +5 advantage for them in rebounding after that one.
Here's Fall, defended by Durant. Fall can't hit.
There's some defense for you. For someone who's as good at shooting the three ball as he is, you need a defender who's equally good at guarding against it.
Well, both him and the team seem to be off their game right now, and the frustration is clearly mounting as the clock is winding down.
And now the latest from our reporter, David Aldridge.
Kevin, thanks. The NBA is looking for greater parity, but Golden State's Draymond Green said, quite frankly, with this new CBA, dynasties are over. We're the last dynasty you'll be able to speak of because of the way this salary cap is set up. I guess we'll see. Kevin?
I hope he's not right, but he may be onto something, David. Thank you. Olajuwon dishes to Bryant. The kick out to LeBron. Shot clock at 6. Left side, KD. Goes up again, and Olajuwon finishes inside. Olajuwon's got 6 in the quarter.
Such a graceful player. Hakeem is light off the ground there for that rebound, and then the skill to send that one home.
Hope, covered by LeBron, finally gets one to Fall. He's now 1 for 5 with his first make.
Haven't we seen that a few times today, guys? I mean, their defense has got to have a little bit more toughness about it.
The tray, traps in the tray. LeBron's got a couple of three-pointers in the second for the Hornets.
And that's his second in this quarter, guys. He's made 3 so far this game and is showing no signs of slowing down.
Beyond the arc. Scores for only the second time tonight. Now 2 for 6 from the field.
And I like the fact that he really was unfazed by that scoreless first quarter, and now you can see him getting into a rhythm.
Shoots a fader. A Bulldozer pulls it in. The Bulldozer's got 7 rebounds in the game. Down low. Now Kevin Durant. Jordan looking around. Pass to Kobe. Down to 5 on the shot clock. It's good. Bryant's got 9.
And you know, he's enjoyed the kind of day you expect in terms of shooting the basketball. He can bring them right back into this game.
Here's Hope. And foul on the shot. He'll shoot 2 at the free throw line. The Kings have scored 6 points from their 8 attempts at the line so far. The first one falls.
Well, it's interesting to watch him because he's putting his body on the line to get to the line. We didn't see this during the first quarter, but he's making up for it here.
Nowitzki's checked in for Charlotte. Stephen Curry comes in for Michael Jordan. Outside Durant, inside, here's Kobe, and the call on the shot sends him to the line.
The motor of Bryant never stops, even inside where he goes right at the D.
For Charlotte, they have gone 3 of 4 at the free throw line tonight.
Taking 2 shots.
That one is off. He hits the second from the line. Kings leading now by 18. Fires from way outside. That's his 4th miss on the floor. He's made 2 of the shots. Curry outside. That shot misses.
So we're chipping some orange paint off the rim here, guys. He must be more patient on offense and trying to find ways to penetrate inside and get closer to the rim.
Banked in off the glass. 11 points in the game.
They've settled into a nice groove offensively here in the second.
Pass to KD. Now here's Curry. Defense is right there.
Clever move by Curry, taking the foul, but still getting the shot off.
This is his first free throw of the game.
At the line for your Hornets, Stephen Curry. 2 shots.
First one falls for him. That's also good, so he hits both free throws. Sacramento's gone an even 50% from three-point range in the second quarter, 4 for 8. Here's Hope. And he could not get that one to go. Out of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2.
4th team foul.
For Sacramento, they have made their free throws at a pretty good clip. They've hit 8 of 10.
At the line for 2.
The first free throw is good. And so he hits both. And so Curry will bring it up for Charlotte. Nowitzki outside. No good from outside. Sacramento leading by 20. From deep three-point territory, the bulldozer, no good. Charlotte shooting in the second quarter has been pretty iffy, down 32%. Hope, he's defended by Nowitzki. Here's Hope. The Hornets pull it in. Olajuwon's got 5 rebounds tonight.
If you told me this was the kind of game he was going to have, I would not have expected them to be in front right now.
For Sacramento, they've gone 8 of 15 since we began the second quarter. Excellent shooting. And for the Hornets, they're shooting just 34% from the floor. The three-pointers right on target. KD's got 5 now.
Yeah, KD's range is just limitless. He makes those bombs look so easy.
Right wing. The shot from the low post is good. And the Kings lead by 19. And here is Curry. 7 points in the game. Pass to Bryant. To the middle. Here's Olajuwon. Second shot opportunity. And that's 2 points on the layup. He's got 8. Sacramento leading by 17. Here's Boss. He's got 13. Rebound by Kobe. And here's Charlotte. KD looking around. Olajuwon with a screen for Durant. That shot missing.
And this feels like it's snowballed a little bit on them. The more he tries to shoot his way out of this slump, the worse it seems to get. They need him to get it together.
offensive rebound and foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line.
First personal foul.
They get Stephen Curry.
You know, I love how he absorbs the foul and still had a chance to knock that one down.
The Kings have been getting it done at the line, 10 for 12. Some changes for Charlotte. O'Neal's checked in for Olajuwon, and LeBron's subbed in for Nowitzki.
And a great job from the line this quarter. They've gotten their percentage way up there.
To the inside, another steal. And here's the fast break. Three-pointer. Gets it to drop, and now he's shooting at a 5 for 8 clip.
And let's see, guys, if that triggers another little explosion from him after hitting 3 triples in that first quarter.
Outside, KD. Good, and Curry gets the assist. Curry's got his 6th assist on the night.
Yeah, he couldn't connect on anything from outside in the first quarter, but now he's hit 2 threes in the second quarter, and he looks much better.
Hope James covering. Just 5 on the clock. The Kings need to get off a shot here. Fires away from way outside. It's hauled in by Kevin Durant.
Well, after getting off to a great start, hitting those first 2 shots, he's definitely regressed a little bit in this quarter.
Kings leading now by 19 points. Hope James defending, and he makes that one. He's got 15.
Boy, has he put his foot on the pedal here this quarter. He's doing a terrific job in terms of leading their offense.
Pass to Bryant, and there's the call on Boss. That's his first foul.
4th team foul. In for the Kings, number 83. Number 83.
LeBron outside. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact.
And getting to the line at will, James using his smarts these days to draw those kind of shooting fouls.
This is his first trip to the line tonight. Free throw drops for James. And both free throws good for LeBron.
It feels like there's been a crossover where basketball fans over the past 2 seasons are really appreciating the longevity and greatness of LeBron James.
For 3. And the rebound goes to the Hornets. Shaq's got his 7th rebound of the game with that last one. Outside Bryant. James finds KD. Launches from deep. And LeBron with the basket, the assist by Durant. LeBron's got 11 here in this quarter alone. And so it's the Sacramento Kings in command with a 16-point lead as the buzzer sounds. They've been putting on a clinic in the paint. Shots are falling with regularity, and they are pounding it down low. We'll get you back to the action after this break.
Welcome, one and all. Before
you take a look at the Hornets, you really get to see what they're made of. After your hard work in the offseason, yeah, you have big.
And let's move on now to those first 2 quarters. Talk about a tough start for the Charlotte Hornets.
They're getting.
And that'll do it for half.
Well, we've got a second half of basketball for you. We think it's going to be pretty good. A big comeback, though, is needed for this game to be competitive, and it probably has to happen quickly. Boss has been sensational.
Really impressed with the shot selection through the first half, just taking what he can get from the defense.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to the first half and wondering, did he take a low percentage shot? Everything efficient.
Hornets trail by 16. They've got LeBron James. Stephen Curry's out there with Bryant. And it's Durant. And it's O'Neal in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. So that's the Hornets 5. They get a hand on it. Here's Boss. defended by Bryant. From 13, Boss gets the bucket. Boss has got 18 points.
And kind of par for the course here, right? Coming through with a solid offensive game to help them get this lead.
Durant, no good. Kings leading now by 18. Oh, and there's the alley-oop. And James pulls it down.
Yeah, and that was lining up to be a huge alley-oop, but they just couldn't quite connect.
Yeah, you can see when it's that close, players reacting. Oh, man, we just missed that one. Maybe they'll get another chance at it.
The Kings shooting pretty well at 46% from the floor. Pope, covered by LeBron. With the drive, and that one drops. He's got 17.
It's a great move, and he catches the defense completely off guard.
Well, just ripping through right there as he finds the open spot and gets right through there.
Whoa! Yeah, I mean, that's a rugged play.
Goodness gracious. And I think that play sort of sums up what we've seen tonight. Just simply being outplayed both sides of the ball. Smart basketball defensively, turning into easy points.
Durant kicks to Curry. Here's Shaq. Chalk up two there.
It's a tall challenge trying to contain Shaq, especially when he's operating close to the basket.
Kings leading now by 18. Here's Hope. And the Kings check on two more.
Yeah, 80%. Is that a good number from the field? I think so. 4 of 5 here shooting. Terrific start.
Outside, Kobe. Inside, it's deflected, and they'll keep possession. Blocked again, and that's out of bounds. Charlotte will retain possession. And that kind of stifling effort on defense needs another look.
Yeah, quick thinking pays off big. What a block.
Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. Just 4 to shoot. James fires from way outside. Here's O'Neal. The putback missed it, even after all those chances. Here's the bulldozer. Buries it from three-point range. The Bulldozers got 10 points.
Well, part of their game plan was to block out the noise and just stay focused.
Always a good sign of maturity and steps forward when you can take this kind of effort, focus, and concentration on the road to get a win.
And so it's Charles Lee calling timeout. He's going to have a discussion here on the sideline. Three minutes gone now in the third quarter. Pass to Kobe. And there's the call on Boss. That's foul number 2 for him.
First team foul.
Here's Curry. He's got 7. And here is James. No good. He's now missed more than he's made. 4 for 9. The Bulldozer passes to Boss. Third quarter action, and just under 3.5 minutes have gone. Hope defended by Bryant. Count it. 21 points in the game.
Well-rounded effort, and they show no signs of letting up.
Coaching staff probably most proud of the effort of this team on both ends of the floor here tonight.
LeBron kicks to Bryant. The wide open look for Durant. Hits the three-point bomb. 11 points in the game.
Yeah, with KD, that's automatic.
Kings leading now by 22. Hope covered by LeBron. Here's Hope. Another shot. And it's Durant with the rebound. And it's Durant with the ball. He'll bring it up for the Charlotte Hornets. Outside for Kobe. Tries again. Sacramento grabs the miss. Earlier in the game, they held a 25-point lead. Here's Hope. Hits it from three-point range.
3 points. Trying more and more to utilize the three-pointer. It's a good idea. That's his second three of the game. One in each half.
Outside, Kobe. Drives to the hoop. And that one clearly a foul. Gets the whistle and 2 shots coming up. And a look at the locations on the floor where he's been shooting the ball.
Well, he has turned in a complete offensive performance so far, and he isn't through yet. I mean, you have to admire the work rate he's put in to get open on every trip. Even when he isn't the one scoring, he is affecting the defense as they have to gravitate towards him.
First free throw is good. And Kobe drops them both. Sacramento leading by 23. And it goes down 2 points.
I love the ball movement there. He put that on a silver platter. Just served him up.
Outside, KD. Pass to Kobe. And there's the call on Boss. That's his 4th foul of the contest.
And that's number 4. Definitely something to keep track of as we move forward.
Outside, Kobe. Pass to James. 6 on the shot clock.
The feel LeBron has for the game, unreal. Whatever situation he finds himself in, he always seems to have an answer.
And a chance for just a second now to check out the scoring breakdown for Sacramento.
And they're playing beautiful basketball right now, racking up the assists by playing so unselfishly, just finding the open man.
Well, the three-point shot has been absolutely huge for them this entire game. And let's be honest, you have to knock down threes to win games these days.
Hope, James defending. Here's Boss. 18 points for him. Here's Hope. And it's Shaq with the rebound. O'Neal's got 11 rebounds in the game. From deep, LeBron. Good for another field goal. Number 5 in the night. 5 for 10 shooting.
LeBron is just dominating right now, aware of the defense, and has not feared one since he came into the league.
Lost contact on the shot, and now a three-point play chance as he'll head to the line.
No clue how he got that one to fall.
Charlotte making a switch here. Nowitzki's checked in, and the Kings also making a change. Hachimura's checked in.
One shot.
Charlotte has gone 2 of 5 with the three-point shot since coming out of the break. Nowitzki outside. Pass to Kobe. Here's Curry with the 3. Rebound by the Kings.
Oof, rough shooting night tonight, but you can't fault him for the effort.
Hachimura, no good. The Hornets shooting a pretty brutal 29% since the break. And it's James missing.
And even with good coverage defensively that time, he has confidence to drill the 3.
Again, the miss by the King.
And he didn't punish them for the weak coverage there, but they can't count on him to continue missing.
You know, altered shots don't show up on the official stat sheet, but as we saw there, he does a great job of doing that as well as collecting the rebound.
That three off target had some space there after the little pump fake. Curry. Hachimura grabs the miss.
And when you can't get anything to fall, it definitely gets in your head.
Especially if you're a player that doesn't get a lot of shot attempts, but otherwise the mindset is, I just gotta get the next one to go. And you don't want to put that much pressure on yourself.
You can't just stop when there's a pick set up. Gotta fight over it as a defender.
That's one that the coaches will watch tomorrow with that player. You hate to see him give up in that situation.
Here's hope. Another three for Sacramento.
Well, after hitting a three earlier in the game, he now has 3 threes this half, guys.
Curry passes to Nowitzki. Curry looking it over. O'Neal a screen on Hachimura. LeBron with it, and Hachimura picks him up defensively. 5 on the clock. Here's James. Their offense stone cold. Another miss there. Hachimura with a screen on Curry. And the rebound goes to the Hornets. O'Neal's got rebound number 12 now. Tenacity on the glass. A shot by Curry, no good.
Not a way to get out of a funk. He needs to be looking for good, solid, more efficient shots. Not the wild one he took there.
A moment now to hear from our sideline reporter, Hall of Famer, David Aldridge. David.
Kevin, improving dialogue between players and officials is a priority. Commissioner Silver says now with high-fidelity audio, we're all able to hear a lot of what's being said. Now we have to take into account the high-stress environment.
Take a break.
But there has to be a two-way sense of respect. I feel it's an area where we can make progress. Kevin?
You know, the commissioner's always looking ahead and looking at every area, which is great for the game. A-Train, he's checked in for Sacramento. That one falls, so he hits both of them. So it's the Hornets now. Now here's Curry. He has 7. Right side, Kobe. Back to Curry. Shot to stop the run. That's good, and it's Bryant with the assist. Bryant's got 3 assists tonight.
They're almost always layups for Curry at this point. Makes the 3 look so easy.
Here's hope. And they wasted no time getting those 3 points back. 37 points for him.
Having a lot of trouble stopping the 3-point shot.
Outside Curry. Nowitzki for 3. Sinks the 3-pointer. Nowitzki's got 7.
And the defense has to be up on Nowitzki more than that because he's too good a shooter from outside.
Hope. James defending. Nice move. He stepped back and cast it up.
Sweet to be a difference maker in the game, and he's been a great option for them on these possessions.
Curry with it. He's got 10. LeBron kicks to Curry. Off target with his 3.
And that's the battle they haven't been winning today. Their work on the glass has been porous, and that's got to change.
He lobs it up, got a piece of it, and stolen by LeBron. And it's Nowitzki penetrating, and here's Bryant for 3. Sacramento grabs the miss. Pope defended by Nowitzki. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2. Dirk Nowitzki picks up that
team foul. Shooting for Sacramento. Hope taking 2 shots.
And he knocks down the first one.
We're still waiting for that first miss from the line this half.
And some changes here for the Hornets. Olajuwon's checked in for Shaq. Jordan comes in for Bryant. And Allen Iverson subbed in for Stephen Curry. Then for the Kings, Eason's checked in, and it's Kane in for Boss. Here's Nowitzki. Trains it from 17 feet out. Nowitzki's got 5 points in the quarter.
A mid-range specialist. All Nowitzki needs is a little wiggle room, and he's going to let it go.
Here's Iverson, and he overshot that one, missing. And for Sacramento, they're shooting 51% from the field. They'll take that. He gets it in there. A-Train's got 10 points.
And after really leaning on that three-point shot in the first half, seeming like they're just getting away from it here in the second. More of the shots coming from the interior.
Nowitzki's shot is no good. The shot and game clock separated by 4. Hope, James defending. There's the pick. Here's Hope. Misses the 3. Now Iverson, still scoreless. Olajuwon on the wing. 1 second left. And he was able to put it up in time, but doesn't fall. And at the end of the third quarter, a huge lead in this one may already have been decided. Kings ahead, opening up a huge gap. And we're coming right back after this break to get the fourth quarter underway. And there have been 2 very different performances from these teams today as we get going in quarter number 4. On offense, here are the Kings. And a look at the 5 for the Kings to start the fourth. And it's Babcock in at the point. Fires the 3. It's rebounded by Durant. KD's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight. Wasted no time on that one.
And showing the range there, Bryant is confident pulling from deep.
Pass to Watanabe. It's tipped and stolen by Nowitzki. And now here comes Kobe, leading the break. Stolen away. Here's the break. Oh, he's going up for the alley-oop here. And a fast break now for the Hornets. Here's Olajuwon, and here is Jordan. He's covered by Eason. Good. And 11 points for Dirk Nowitzki.
He was sitting back a little bit there in the first half, but feels like showtime now, and he's ready to put some major points up on the board.
Babcock, guarded by Kobe. Hakeem Olajuwon with the rebound.
Yeah, but the defense was determined not to give him an inch of free space. What confidence from Nowitzki, managing to get his shot off. Wow, still drawing contact.
At the line for 2, Dirk Nowitzki.
First free throw is good.
And even though they're down, they are putting on a show at the free throw line.
Both free throws good from Nowitzki.
And for his size, Nowitzki's abilities as a shooter are really special. This guy can knock it down as if he played in the backcourt.
Timeout called by the Kings. He's checked in for Dirk Nowitzki. Hornets on defense now. Here in the fourth quarter, their defense has been very strong, allowing no baskets. Here's Babcock. Bangs home the trifecta.
He's just stretching them out. The defense has got to do a better job of staying attached to him.
We're excited to be here for opening day tip-off, Doris. It feels like the league is in a great place.
There is no doubt, BA, absolutely. To me, more talent in the league right